and welcome to the workshop vlog. In today's episode we're going to be talking about the changes to the workshop, which are evident right behind me. In front of me the workshop looks like an absolute disaster. There is stuff everywhere. I'll quickly show you what's happening now. So on this wall over here I am having plywood cladding installed with new electric points. We have one here and one along there, which I'll show you in a second. Now these are really important because firstly this means I can hang things up on here as there's stud work behind it. Equally it looks quite nice and it gets rid of those horrible concrete grey walls, and I really like the look of this plywood. I don't think I'll end up painting it, but if I want to it's very easy to do. Now these sockets are just standard ones, and then I have one that has a USB point for a phone. Now this is 18mm thick plywood, but to be honest you can use what you want. I'm not doing this myself. I've got some builders to do this because quite frankly the time it takes to do this, it's just not worth my time to do it. I'd rather have someone else do it for me, and I know they're going to do a really good job of it, so that's the reason for having it done by someone else. And equally they're going to be installing a sink in the bottom corner, as we've actually found there is a pipe with running water that comes, I think it comes from, there's an outside tap, and you can, basically there's a way that we can get a sink in the corner over there, and we're going to box some of the pipework in, and that wall, which is the wall to our lounge, is going to be insulated with some insulation, which is up there. I'll show you all of this now quickly. Now this is the reason for filming the workshop vlog like I have. If you look behind me you can see everything has just been pushed into the middle of the workshop so that we have these walls free to start work. Now the bandstill's sitting there along with many other bits and bobs, as you can hopefully see, but that's all going to be put away at some stage soon. So let's move on to having a look at what we've actually got set up here. So as you can see we've got one plug socket here, and then we've got another one over here, and we've also got one over there. This one has a USB port in it, and this one has just two ordinary plug points. Cables run along here, and they go round the back behind all the insulation foam. Up there is something that needs access, hence why it's been cut out like that, and the same with up there. And then behind all this insulation foam, I don't know whether you can make it out, but somewhere down there, you can just about make out that little point there, is where the water is. So that's where we're going to connect a little sink to. This is the insulation foam we'll be using, and this is the back wall to the lounge. So this is all being insulated in some stud framing, and then it will have 18mm plywood over the top. These pipes are going to be boxed in as well, which is going to be really nice. So as I did say, the workshop's in absolute state at the moment. Hence why I can't finish any of my projects, because the lathe's in the middle of the workshop. So I want to be able to do some more of the Christmas tree projects, but at the moment I can't. So whilst all of this workshop stuff is great for me, obviously it's not as good for you guys because I'm not going to be able to produce as much content for the next few weeks. I am going to be producing a Christmas tree video very soon though. All I need to do is just film the last bit, which is how I apply the spray lacquer and how I finish the bottoms of them, so like the sanding process and engraving names and things if you want to do that. So that video will hopefully be coming out this Friday perhaps, I'm not entirely sure. This workshop vlog thing will be out on Monday night, which is tomorrow, and then the rest of the week I'm going to have a couple of stuff in here being done, a couple of bits and bobs, so obviously this is all going to be done. I'm filming a few bits of this, so I've come and filmed some bits when they've been doing the stuff, so I've got some what this all looked like before it had all the plywood on it, and I've taken some videos, some photos, some bits and bobs, and I'll try and get a few shots of that. Obviously I could have done this plywood stuff, but quite frankly I'd rather it's done by a proper tradesman, and I think they've done a really great job so far. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this workshop transforms, and I'm looking forward to having a door into the house as well. This is just going to be an awesome space, and obviously the insulation behind me is awesome as well because it's making the workshop a lot warmer. I can already feel the difference because this is the outside wall here, and the difference in heat already just by putting up some stud work and this 18mm ply is absolutely amazing. I'm loving the difference in the heat already, and once that's all insulated and the same with the other wall, it's going to be absolutely fantastic in here. So I apologise for the sort of weird filming angles and bits and bobs. I've also got all of this 18mm ply that they're going to be using behind here, and they said they'll leave me all of the offcuts and bits and bobs, so I'll hopefully be making some workshop furniture out of those. So let's actually talk about these bits of resin now. So someone asked me whether it was possible if I could have a go at turning a sphere, and they said to me they'll make two of these, and one can be for me and one for them. So this one has a big air bubble in it, so I'll have to make this sphere a slight bit smaller, and this is the one that's got this extra bit of resin here. So this is the best one in terms of the resin and bark, I think it looks really cool because you can see bits of moss in it. You can see all the different types of wood bark in here and all the different colours. I think it just looks absolutely amazing. If I try and focus the camera a little bit, you might be able to just make out some of these crazy shapes and patterns in here. So this is ultra clear resin. It's really nice. I've never turned resin before, so if you do have any advice, please put it in the comments section below. So hopefully, if I have time before Christmas, I want to make a few chopping boards. I've got some lovely bits of Padook here, bright orange bits of Padook, and I've got a bit of walnut here, so I'm thinking of making a Padook and walnut chopping board. Now, I know over time the Padook will go slightly brown, but I think that will add quite a nice colour, and it won't be exactly the same as the walnut, so I think it'll be quite a nice contrast still. Now, if I don't have time to do that, then it will just be standard sort of videos, but I'm really hoping I'm going to have some time to make some chopping boards and some other bits and bobs before Christmas. The things I really want to make are a snowman out of a spindle blank. I've got loads of spindle blanks, so I'll probably turn it out of ash, I think, just because I've got so much ash. It's not the end of the world if I use a load of it, because it's also very cheap. So this snowman's just going to be for myself. I'm not making them for family and things like that this year. I'm making the Christmas tree decorations this year and some other bits and bobs, some bowls and things. If I don't get time to make bowls and things for videos though, they'll just be made next year, and I am planning on doing some really interesting bowls and things, so I want to have a go at doing some sunset fade ones with some pyrography on them. I also want to do some texturing on some bowls, and I want to do platters next year. So my three, I guess, big targets for next year are to push myself in wood turning, so that would be doing things like platters with colouring, texturing, and really trying to push myself, so maybe some gold leafing, as I said, texturing, and obviously the colouring element. And I love the pyrography side of things, as well as the Shoshugibon style things. So I'm really going to try and combine all those things and really push myself in wood turning, because I've learned so much from February when I started this year wood turning, and to have only been going for not even a year, I'm pretty happy with my progress so far. And I looked back at my first ever project a few weeks ago, which was a mini mallet, and from where I've come to now, I'm really happy, because you can just see the progress, and now I make bowls and things, and it's really rewarding being able to see all of this progress. So for next year, as I said, lots of platters and things like that to come, as well as making some more spindle projects and more challenging things. If you have any ideas of things that can challenge me that aren't going to require hundreds of pounds of equipment for the lathe, so I don't want to have to buy things like a hollowing jig or anything like that, but if there's things that you think would be challenging, please let me know. So, for example, it might be some spindle projects or some bowl projects or platter projects. I'd be really interested to know what you guys think would be a good challenge in the workshop. There's lots of things I want to try, but I also like trying things that you guys suggest. I definitely want to work with some more exotic woods and some more difficult woods to work with, so things like panga panga, and I quite like working Padook as well, so I'm going to give those things a go, and dovetailing is coming next year. I've got the dovetail jig, I've got the saws, I've got the equipment, I've got some chisels, but for Christmas I'm going to hopefully buy some new ones. I'm going to get the Accidents to Rider set, because they've got 20 quid off at the moment. So next year I will be doing dovetails. I know I've been saying I'm going to do them, I'm going to do them, I'm going to do them. I will, it's just there's so many other things that I've got to do at the moment. But I have some really nice bits of wood to make them from. I've got this beech here, and this is pretty much the perfect size to make a dovetailed box out of. It has got a slight chamfer to the sides, but I think this will look really great as a box, and I really like the colour of this beech. It's not the most exotic wood, and it's not the nicest wood in the world, but it's a good starting point, and it has got this knotty bit in it, but I've got two of these, so I've got enough to make a fairly decent sized box. And beech is quite easy to chisel and to saw, so I think it'd be a good starting point to learn from. And obviously I'll be using Matt Esley's videos to learn how to properly dovetail. It won't be a tutorial as such, it'll be more of a watch how I do it and my journey sort of thing, and see how I get on. So I hope you're looking forward to that video. I'm really looking forward to making some dovetails. I'm really looking forward to turning these spheres. I'm a bit sceptical about trying it, because I don't want to mess up these beautiful blanks, but I have got some wood blanks that I can have a practice on first. Now, in terms of other news in the workshop, I have got one chopping board that I'll definitely be making for Christmas, which is a wild mango one. So it's actually, when it's gone through the planer and it's got stuck in the planer, it's sort of made a big, like a half round cutout in the middle of the piece of wood. I don't know where the piece of wood is at the moment, so I can't show you, because, as I said, the workshop's sort of a bit upside down at the moment, so I'm struggling to find some things. But I'm going to have a go at making that chopping board before Christmas. Equally, I really want to make these drumsticks before Christmas. I said about making drumsticks probably about 2 months ago now, and I'm really looking forward to giving those a go. I have got a drummer who will be able to play the drums for me using my drumsticks, so I think I'll make quite a cool little video. They're going to be made out of maple, as maple is quite a nice wood to turn, and it's also quite a good wood to use for drumsticks. I'll need to do a bit of experimentation, but my lathe is just big enough to make a decent sized drumstick. Now, in terms of the bandsaw, I still need to order those parts. I did manage to find the correct parts, and they sell them on a bandsaw spares parts website, and they've got loads of them, so I'm going to order those hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, and they won't come before Christmas, but I wasn't planning on using the bandsaw before Christmas anyway, so that's not a big concern. I've got the blades for the bandsaw, I've got the bandsaw buddy, and I've also got the UJK levelling box. So I've got everything I really need to tune up that bandsaw and make it a great little bandsaw. And the table, I think I showed some photos of it, or maybe I showed it in the vlog last week, but that's looking really, really nice and smooth. Well, it is nice and smooth, and it also looks great. It's really polished as well. And I did try just pushing a piece of wood across it, and it slides absolutely beautifully, which is exactly what you want for a bandsaw table. I polished it with some machine wax from Axminster, and I'm really looking forward to having a go with the bandsaw. Now, I haven't used a bandsaw ever before, so I'm going to have to be quite careful, but I think as long as you keep your hands well away from the blade, should be fine. And I'm going to get a push stick, but a push stick template online, and then I'm going to make it out of some wood. I don't know what wood I'm going to make it out of. I know you don't really want to use nice pieces of wood for it because they'll get chopped up, but I've got loads of little scraps of nice hardwood here. I'll probably use something like that. And I did just find the other piece for the dovetail box, which is this one, which hasn't got any knots or anything in it. It was underneath the workbench. This is the workbench that's usually right in front of this wall where I'm currently standing, which is quite weird for me because everything's just been moved. And it's only 2 of them doing it, and the speed they're doing this is incredible. But yeah, I've got lots and lots to get on with in this workshop, and at the moment I can't really make anything, so I'm just going to be clearing it up and finding where everything is. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them down below. Apart from that, thank you for watching.